Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Jess.
And I'm Sally.
And I'm Mike.
Everybody, this is episode 225 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping, or just playing bikes. And we've had a couple of weeks of hiatus. Sort of, but that's we apologize for that. But we had like Grusk, that was a big thing, and then Jess decided to go drive her brand new car into the side of his truck.
No, she didn't. It is not her fault.
No, I know it's not her fault. So a big truck decided to run into the side
Into
of
her.
Jess.
There you go.
The box truck hit me, just like Sven.
Yeah.
When we were explaining when we bought the car, we were explaining to the nice Subaru man, like, oh, if you get in more than 2 accidents, you can't turn your car into Subaru. And I was like, but it's not my fault. Sven ran into me.
Oh, that's right.
And
Sven the deer.
Yeah. And then the day after my birthday, a box truck hits me.
Yeah. Well, it was the day we were supposed to record. So we just said, you know what? No, not today. We're not doing it. Not happening. So we've been off a couple of weeks, and that's just the way it is. Tonight, we're going to talk about an upcoming gravel event in Virginia, the Bike the Gravel Tour de Easement. Sally, did I get that right?
You got that right.
The Easement. Joining us tonight is Michael Catlett, who is the event director, and Sally Price, who is the former director for the Land Trust of Virginia and the event founder / brainchild. Would you say that's fair as well, Sally?
Brainchild?
Brainchild. No, it's like her. She's. I don't know.
You said rain. Never mind.
No, brain. It's her. It was her vision to bring about this event.
Gotcha.
So we're going to dive into that. But before we get there, I have got some great discount codes to share with you, our loyal listener, on either the Salt Stick website or the JoJ website. When you reach checkout, use the code LOVEYOUBUY. Take 20% off all your items. And guys, I used my Salt Stick at Grusk. I ate it, and so did I know Larry did too. And Larry said it was another one that got him through. So over at Cutaway USA, use the discount code GTD20 to take 20% off your order there. And if you're in the market for a new hydration pack, check out Orange Mud. It's a crazy long discount code, so I'm going to put it in the show notes, but it'll get you 15% off your order. You can find all those links and all of those numbers and all of that information in the show notes. So check that out there. Do you have a crack of the week, Joey?
Yes.
Let's hear it. Oh,
Ooh, that actually sounded good.
That was an interesting. I was waiting for a bigger payoff on it though. What is it? What are you drinking over there?
That's Topo Chico.
I don't know what that is. Topo
Nobody
Chico?
knows what that
Nobody
is.
knows
It's
what
okay.
that is.
Mexican mineral water.
Mexican mineral water?
Yeah.
Okay.
With a twist of lime.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am having.
I finished my athletic IPA.
I'm having. You gave me a nice a black cherry athletic brewing sparkling water called Day Pack that has hops in it. It's almost like a beer and a seltzer had a baby and put it in a can and then threw a black cherry in on top of it. It's actually very good.
My friend Chris, who's a listener, sent it to me.
Oh, nice. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. I wasn't sure at first, and then it was like it kind of grows on me. Now I keep sipping at it, and it's like, it's got that little hoppy kind of bite that a beer has without that heavy.
I got 4 flavors.
Nice. What others do you have?
Chris? Lime, mango, that one, and I got to check.
You picked the right flavor.
Oh, that's my favorite. That's the one that
black cherry would be the one that I would pick.
We actually tried athletic brewing for the first time at
Rally Cat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we started, or Joey started tasting. Well, we all did. We were all tasting them at the end.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I very much have been learned to enjoy it. So, Joe, you want to do Strava Club real quick?
No.
Please do. Anyway, whether you want to or not.
All right, Strava Club. Where is this at? Kelly Riley from Wilmington, Delaware, with 192 miles. Grant Clarkson from Mount Pleasant, Michigan, with 153. And Cody Austin from
Portage.
Sorry, that's reading Patchkey.
Weird name.
I had 2 Michigan people.
Yeah, I know, right?
135.7. You needed 128.8 with this really, really humid mid-Atlantic winter summer we're having. And we still stand at 902 Strava
I
members.
think that's down a couple, though. But it's still over
Probably.
100, so that's good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, over 900. That's good.
Strava.com/clubs/gravel travel dirt.
All right, let's talk about what we're here to talk about. This is the 6th annual Bike the Gravel Tour de Easement. Wait a minute. No, I think I got that. I botched that already. It's the Tour. Tour de Conservation
Oh my
Easement.
God.
Leave me alone.
You're like our speaking leader.
I know I'm the one that talks the most, and I'm having a hard time tonight getting the words. I love this little tagline. I'm going to go ahead and throw the date out there. The date is September 23rd, 2023. We bring the gravel, you bring the grind. I like that. I think that's catchy. I like it a lot. So this is the 6th annual. It is a scenic gravel road ride that goes through some private properties of Loudoun and Fauquier counties, Virginia. And Sally, as I understand it, give us the backstory on this gravel event and how it plays out. I'll give you the reins for a little bit.
Do you know what a conservation easement is?
Yes. Well, maybe you should explain that to our listeners, though. That would probably be a good idea.
Well, so I was hired to run this conservation group, Land Trust of Virginia, and I couldn't figure out the elevator speech for a conservation easement. It's a complicated legal process that helps a landowner permanently protect their property from any future development. It's permanent. It restricts the development of the property however the landowner wants. Every conservation easement document is unique to each property, but they take a big financial hit when they restrict their property from development. I mean, the developer doesn't want to pay a whole lot of money for a piece of property they can't build on. And those restrictions, this legal document gets recorded with the deed of the property and travels forever. So even when the landowner sells the property, those restrictions stay in place. So I found myself that what I just said is pretty succinct and is about as short as I could get it. And people would say, you know, what do you do? And I'd launch into this long thing about all the tax benefits that landowners get, but all the benefit it is for everybody else that these properties are getting protected from development, how it protects all our gravel roads because we're stopping subdivisions. And finally, I thought 6 years ago, I have always been an avid cyclist, not so much right now, but did bike camping, used to race in 100-mile races. I love everything about bicycles. And I was like, okay, let's show people what a conservation easement is. So we came up with this idea and tested it the first year with just a bike club in the Plains, Virginia. I picked up Michael in that bike shop. He was kind of listening in on what we were talking to the owner about. And we snagged him and got him involved. And he can say all the work that he's done for us. But it started out with 44 cyclists that were part of this bike club at this bike shop. And it's grown from there. And we're now capping it at about 550 cyclists. It's a fabulous event. It's not a race, although you do have some people approach it like that.
Roadies.
It's more, a leisurely ride. And we offer 3 routes, an 18-mile ride, a 35-mile ride, and a 65-mile ride. The majority of people sign up for the 65-miler.
Okay.
And those people get access to 6 private properties. And the things I've heard, I mean, you can't improve upon the ride. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And you hear people say things like, I've always wondered whether down those long private driveways, the landowners will allow us on this one day only to ride down and through their properties. And, the biggest property is an 854-acre farm that's just gorgeous. A lot of these properties have historic value. It's just a spectacular day, and it's gotten more and more popular, and it helps raise money for the Land Trust, which means we can do more conservation work. And that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Nice. So Joey and I think we both know what a conservation easement is because we watch Yellowstone.
I was going to say, that's what I was thinking the whole time.
Got it.
I was going to butt in about that.
Yeah, that's right.
I know, because I used to do a lot of fish conservation, marine conservation.
Yeah, Joe's been a big,
Yellowstone, yeah.
CCA, I think that you're involved with.
I actually grew up in Princeton, New Jersey, and like 40 years ago, which is giving you some indication of how old I am, a couple of big developers came into Princeton and started buying up all the farmland and, developing it into subdivisions. And I got together with a couple of neighbors and formed a land trust to try to start talking farmers into doing conservation easements. And that's really how the whole movement started nationally. Our federal, state, county governments, they can't buy it all the land we want to create for parks. So people started to take it into their own hands and say, okay, well, if we can't create open space by buying land and doing parks, how else can we be conserving forests and farms and clean water and clean air? We can get private citizens to do it with their own property. So it's a huge success. It's a huge movement. And our current president currently has a 30 by 30. He wants 30% of the land in the United States conserved in any way it can be, whether it's in federal parks or state parks or conservation easements by 2030.
Okay. Oh, that's probably a
probably
big,
more information than you want.
That's a big goal. No, that's a big goal. That's a big chunk of land. But I mean, we need it because I understand the concept, and it's if we have land that is not able to be developed in large tracts, then what will not happen is a development won't come in and then change the landscape of the land. It doesn't. The land remains as it should, quite frankly, is intended to be. And I get it. The connect the dots comes right straight back over to we're seeing a lot of gravel being lost to hardtop, and and that typically happens because you have communities that require high volume traffic, and if we can cut down and eliminate that high volume traffic and learn to adjust accordingly, then that's going to, at the end of the day, it's that trickle down sort of save the gravel kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
So, no, I fully get it. And I think that's pretty doggone cool. Yeah. And now, how long has the Land Trust been doing this? You may have said it. I'm not sure.
So 31 years.
31 years. Okay.
And we've conserved over 31,000 acres in 31 Virginia counties. We're not the only land trust in Virginia.
Okay.
And Virginia is actually very lucky to have a state agency that does this work. But yeah, when you conserve land, you're conserving wildlife corridors and forests and farms.
Right.
And yes, you're absolutely right. The gravel roads.
Now I understand that
people don't want the dust of gravel roads. They want the roads paved.
Now I understand that it's typically, just because it's in a conservation easement does not make it public property, which is what sort of the focus of this event is. It's the ability to access and see some of these private locations that are protected by the conservation easement to give people an understanding of what that means. Are there, in fact, though, conservation easements that make land available for public use? Is that something that people may choose to do?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the Land Trust holds a couple of those
okay.
easements. But, Michael has so expertly Loudoun and Fauquier counties in Virginia have a higher concentration of land in conservation easement than any place else in the country.
Okay.
So Michael has expertly, mapped out the routes for this event through this area that is just beautiful and permanently protected.
So I've got one more question. Before we go to the event, I've got another question on the idea of the land trust and the conservation easements. Are there other states in the Mid-Atlantic that have sort of a organization that is like Land Trust? Like, does Maryland have a Land Trust of Maryland kind of organization?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. There are at least 1,700 private land trusts in the United States.
Okay. Well, I guess.
And some counties have land trust offices.
Okay.
Whenever the land trust got a call, we would educate people and say, shop around. There are other private land trusts. There's a state agency that might be able to help you. There are county agencies. You have to get yourself kind of educated. Although I really think the Land Trust of Virginia was the best. But, I'm a little,
of course. Of course.
Yeah.
I'm a little partial.
So basically what I'm hearing is if I'm a private landowner and for whatever reason, be it I'm conservation minded, be it I'm looking for some tax benefits, whatever the reason may be, the proper path to preserve that is to actually find yourself a land trust type of partner that you would work with to make that happen.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Because we have American Chestnut Land Trust, which is right here in Calvert County. So
right. And it costs the landowner to do this legal process. They have to have an appraisal of the property done. They have to hire an attorney. Sometimes a survey needs to be done if there hasn't been a survey of the land. And I will say the land trust has raised money. We have several funds available to help people with the costs, but the tax benefits are significant.
Okay.
I could give you a quick example if you want.
Sure, please.
Let's say you own 100 acres and you get an appraisal done, and the fact is that your property is 10 acre zoning, so you could sell off 10 individual parcels to people to build houses. Okay. And I'm going to use round numbers.
Sure.
Let's say a developer would give you $1 million for that. And you decide, I love this land. This land, for whatever reason, like you said, has been in my family, or I love it. I want to hand it to my kids just the way it is.
Or you want to keep the airport from coming in. You want to keep that
right.
You want to keep that airport out.
I don't ever want to see this divided into 10 parcels. I want it to stay the way it is. And the appraiser says, okay, well, guess what? A developer is not going to pay you $1 million if they can't develop it. So you're taking a financial hit. That property is now worth only $600,000. You still own it. You can still live on it, but you can't have anybody ever build on it. And you've just taken a $400,000 hit in value. The IRS and the state of Virginia will give you tax benefits for that. They consider that a non-cash charitable donation.
Here we go. Nice.
To a land trust. The state of Virginia will give the landowner 40% of that perceived donation. So 40% of the $400,000 loss, or $160,000, if I'm doing my math right, in state tax credits that you can use to pay your state tax liability, spread it out over a 10-year period, or there's actually a market for those. You can sell those. You can sell those state tax credits. And there are corporations in Virginia that have a big state tax bill and they'll buy them from you. And there are these brokers that have popped up that will help you find a buyer.
Wow.
Okay, so cool. you still own the land. It's worth $600,000. You've now got $160,000 in addition to that in these credits. And then the federal government will let you take the remaining 60% of that perceived value, loss of value, right? If you're following that, state gives you 40%, federal gives you 60%. So this is $240,000. There's no market for those. You can't sell those. but you can use those to pay your federal income taxes over a 15-year period.
Okay. So there's a financial kind of there's a huge financial upside benefit to putting that land that you for whatever reason don't want to convert to some other use. It gives you that financial benefit to be able to do that, to actually conserve the land. So it makes a lot of sense.
Well, and that example that I just gave you is, very simplistic. And I also use an example where I'm saying, you're restricting all the development. I mean, we have people come to us and say, well, I don't want to restrict all the development. I want my son to be able to build a house on it too. So we work with people, and we figure out a way to reduce the amount of development, but conserve the land at the same time.
Well, hopefully, I mean, that's given me a very good understanding, I think, of what that idea of a land trust is, and actually, connecting the dots, how it benefits it benefits me as a gravel cyclist to have available these roads that are slow, like we talked about earlier, just slowly going away. It's like a win-win-win kind of thing across the board. And
what's been fun for me is, people go off on for this day of cycling, and they're getting access to these beautiful properties, and then they come back to the venue, and where they've got barbecue and beer, and they're sitting outside and they're hanging out, and they've had a really enjoyable day, and I get to walk around and say, so which was your favorite property? And cool. Do you know what a conservation easement is? And I'm able to really educate people, which is why I came up with the event to begin with. It ends up just being a really wonderful day of education and fun, and it's been great.
Let's turn our attention then to the actual event. Michael, as the event director, tell us a little bit not from the easements perspective and the private property idea, but from the gravel cyclist perspective. Let's talk a little bit about the courses that you've got laid out.
Yeah, well, every year the courses are different. We start with what properties we have available to go through, and then we go from there. And as a gravel cyclist, I try to put together what I think are the most exciting roads in terms of rideability as well as beauty. And you put all that together, and then you just kind of factor a number of things together. It's like, how much will people want to suffer? If you don't have enough suffer, they're not interested in it. If you have too much suffer, they're not interested in it. So you have to balance that.
We are anti-suffer, pro beer and barbecue, I think is
okay. Well, we got that. Yeah. And so we found out that if we balanced, we had like three different, and that was important to involve the whole community. So we found out we had three distances, like in this year, we have 72 miles, 37 and 23 miles, that we'd have something for everybody.
Okay.
And that everybody in the community could participate, even those who don't readily ride a gravel bike, right up to those guys who want to see how quickly they can do 72 miles. This is a very unique place, and with these properties in easement, we're able to connect gravel segments of 12 miles, 15 miles, 17 miles, 19 miles. I think the longest sector we ever had was like 21 miles.
Wow.
And you can't do that. No one else can offer that to you. The other thing that's important to me is, you've probably noticed there's just a lot of gravel events, but a lot of them just don't have that much gravel.
Yeah.
Our events this year, the long course is 67% gravel. It's never less than 60%. I don't think I've had anything come close to less than 65%. And, sometimes it's like 85% on the short courses. So it's just a fantastic backyard to work in.
So let's talk about you. I love the names of your routes. Let's start with the 23-mile route, the Gracious Gravel Grinder. So it's 23 miles. You do have a rest stop, and you said it's 66% gravel. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And tell folks what they're going to see and experience on that Gracious Gravel Grinder route.
Well, on the Gracious Gravel, the short course, which the great thing about this year's course is that I've tried to run the first roughly 12 miles parallel so everybody can ride together. So if you have a friend who's a intermediate cyclist or one who's a starting cyclist and you want to spend your first hour or so with them, you can do that. It also the first rest stop is also at a common location, so it's a crossroads for everybody to go through. This is the first year we've done that. I've been trying to get more interaction between the different levels of cyclists because I think it's important that more advanced cyclists give encouragement to people that are just starting or people that are intermediate. So this year we have this real integration of cyclists on different lists.
That's great.
On that course, the 23-mile, it's going to be mostly gravel, but everyone goes through the first estate. There's an optional 4-mile tag on there so that they can get to go through 2 estates this year. It's a pretty easy thing. It only takes it up to around 26 miles, 27 miles, and it's almost all gravel. They get to do through some of the small historic towns we have out here in the little hamlets, and they go through 2 of our most popular properties. So it's extremely popular. When I first put it together, I thought, okay, it's just going to be a few people doing that. But every year now, it gets bigger and bigger.
Nice.
And more cyclists who just started.
Well,
who don't cycle do it.
That sounds like the perfect distance. There's a lot of people that are gravel curious, but they're put off by the idea of the race. And this is not a race; it's a ride. We love that, so it'd be perfect for them.
I also think that we've been so obsessed with these podiums and events and all these things like that we've gotten away from the real experience of gravel and what it means to be riding with friends and looking at pretty courses and things like that. I personally am a huge advocate of doing events versus races because it takes all that pressure out and it really just focuses on me and my friends going out and having a ride. So I really appreciate what you guys have done with this event.
Well, I've done tons of gravel races, tons of gravel rides. And this is the first one I've ever had where I go out and I see people just stopping and taking pictures. Ride a mile, stop and take pictures. They just really embrace it. And I think that's what was important about the whole bike to gravel thing for the land trust was let people develop an appreciation for this land and realize it's a diminishing resource and that they become advocates. It's not the money that we make for the land trust that's probably the most important part. It's that we're creating 500 or 600 advocates every year who will get involved.
And who understand what an easement is, who you're educating on what's going on here and what you're doing, why you're doing it. So yeah, it's huge. Yeah. It's huge. What kind of elevation do you have on the Gracious?
It's not too bad. It's like 1,200 feet.
Okay.
I try to keep it down. Your entry gravel rider is not too interested in climbing up too much stuff. So it's like 1,300 feet. But it has a pretty good ratio though to climb to gravel though, even though but it's 61%.
So jumping up to the next level, that 37-mile, the gorgeous gravel grinder. How does that differ from the 18? Or the 23? What are we seeing there?
Well, on there, of course, it's certainly longer than the 23, but they share. Those two share the first 9 miles together. So you can ride with your friends. It also, the first 16.7 miles, and this is quite common, where you get an intermediate gravel rider to go with the more advanced riders, but they get to spend, they get a 16.7 mile segment to ride together before it splits off. And it's only, it's 2,300 feet, still a good amount of vertical, but they get two properties, and they get back to the venue earliest so they can drink beer.
Nice.
So a lot of people really like in fact, I probably train on that course every week simply because it's such a perfect distance and goes through such a beautiful area.
What kind of stuff should folks see at the rest stops? How are you supporting the rest stops?
Well, we're rest stops. We try to make them as vibrant as we can each year, and have more people interaction and stuff. Not just fill up your bottles and hit the road, but discuss what they see, ask where they're going. Get education while they're there. Did you see this in that property? This year we have 2 rest stops. But the first one is in Unison at the old store. It features the historic old store there, which is a very old building that sits out in the middle of a small hamlet of Unison.
Cool.
And we're pretty excited about being at the crossroads so that everybody can interface with each other. And the distances are pretty good enough that, a short distance rider will see some long distance riders and, kind of cross pollinate.
And
then
I see in your notes that's 84% gravel, that route. So that's a lot of gravel. That's a nice number.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yep. It is a very good number. The thing is, I'd love to put more and more properties on it every year, but it's to get a lot of properties, you got to cover a lot of road miles.
Okay.
And so it's really hard to get a lot of properties on the shorter ones, and that's the benefit of going on the longer ones. On the longest gravel grinder, we have 2 stops, and one of those is right in the middle of one of our farm estates, which is a fabulous experience for people to stop in the middle of these farm estates and fill up their Gatorade bottles, listen to some music, get some trail food, and get ready to hit the road again.
Get back on it. So the gnarly gravel grinder is the big Mac Daddy. That's your 70-mile course. Tell us a little bit about that one.
72. This year, I think it's probably the hardest course. We've had courses with more climbing in it and long climbs. We used to have a uphill time trial on Busthead Road. But not very many people really enjoyed that. But this year, I think this is one of the more challenging ones. First of all, you've got about 36 miles to cover before you get back to the first rest stop. Not a big demand for a lot of people, but if you're not a smart cyclist about drinking and eating, it's going to be tough. It's also 70% gravel, and it climbs about 75 feet per mile. So it's gonna challenge people. Much kinder second half, more properties in the second half. In the second half, they'll be able to string together 3 estates and go from estate to estate to estate, all by gravel roads, all big horse estates. So
wow,
it's pretty wonderful.
There must be some amazing views on that. That's just got to be fantastic. So you got 3 great routes, and it is a ride, not a race. Are you e-bike friendly?
We are e-bike friendly. In fact, This year we had a sponsor who's joined Patago, and you can actually order your bike from them and deliver to the event. We only ask people that they ride responsibly on the e-bike and be respectful. We find that sometimes e-bike riders aren't really good at the etiquette because they're coming into the game a little later. So we just ask people to be real respectful and not to run us down while we're churning along with our legs. I
just got back from Grusk, and there were a lot of e-bikes riding at Grusk, Joey, and it was I didn't experience that problem. I really thought that most of the e-bike folks were, 'cause we were climbing. We were on that long 12-mile climb up to the top of Spruce Knob, and so it felt like they were working just as hard, I think, as everybody else was.
Why should we exclude people? Like, if you want to ride your e-bike, ride your e-bike. As long as you're safe and doing what you need to, you're fine.
Exactly. I think that's right.
We agree with you because they wouldn't be doing it otherwise. And,
exactly.
So I'm glad they're there.
So I
glad they're there.
I guess they also have to, you kind of have to know what your bike is capable of doing. Can your bike actually do 70 miles? Because you don't want to get to miles 50 and have that battery go
Yeah.
south on you.
We have great sag wagons, even for e-bikes.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So what happens? So everybody's out. They've ridden the route. They've stopped at these great rest stops. They're enjoying the gravel. And they get back to the start. What's happening there at the end of everybody's rides? What can they look forward to there?
Well, so everybody gets beer tickets with their entry fee. So usually most people just drop their bike and get to the beer stand. But we have a barbecue. We have a DJ. We have massage tables.
Nice.
We have vendors. And of course, we have plenty of people from the Land Trust making sure that you were happy with your experience and give you education. It's one big party. It's definitely the funnest part because I've done a lot of races and a lot of rides, and this is the one place I see everybody smile, even if it was hard on you. So it's a good time.
That's exactly right.
Where does the event start?
It starts in Upperville at the Buchanan Hall.
Okay.
And this year it goes as far north, almost to Lincoln, just south of Purcellville, and goes almost to the plains on the other end. We passed through Middleburg this time for the first time.
Yeah, I was checking out.
Year.
Are you going to have the routes published anytime soon, or do you wait until the week of?
Nope, they're up on. If you go to Bike Reg, they're already posted there.
Yeah, on Bike Reg. We're actually all looking at the Land Trust page.
Oh, they're like hit. Sorry, I had to hit the extra under the t-shirts.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it was hidden.
Gotcha. What do you have sponsors?
I was going to say, we do remind people that they don't have access to the private properties until the day of the event.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
that is a challenge.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure it is. Do you have any sponsors that you want to give a shout out to?
Sure. We've got the great beer sponsor, Old Busthead, has been with us from the beginning.
Got a good scout.
And of course, this year, Unison Preservation Society, which handles the Unison stores there for us. Maverick Bikes and Cafe has been a big supporter of ours, as is America's Routes, if you're familiar with that organization.
Yeah.
We also have Sky NR, G Solar, and Sun Management this year supporting us. So it's we're lucky to have a lot of sponsors, and it's important.
Cool. And how is registration going? Your registration is open. What are your numbers looking like? I know you got that target of that 500. What are things looking like?
Yeah, we're up at that 300 right now. Usually about end of the first week of August, we usually hit the 500, and then we start the waiting list. And we're good at letting people in as long as we can make sure that we're going to assure everyone has a good time. But yeah, we usually hit it the first week or so of August. We usually hit the 500 limit.
Okay, cool. So folks,
and we'd like to grow the event and have more than 500 people. It's just a logistically challenging thing. You have to have a venue. You have to have people that are willing to allow the properties in. We have to have enough volunteers to do it. It's challenging, but we do hope to grow the event.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought Joey had a question. Well, cool. America's Routes. We had Casey Clark on.
Yes.
It talked a lot about America's Routes. That was been a couple of years. So we're familiar with that.
Here's one. I'm assuming September. I don't know where we sit at with our foliage. Is that a little early? Late September.
Yeah, it's usually a little early, but it's hell of a lot cooler.
But the temperature's nice.
Yeah. So you get to enjoy the green while the temperatures are a little cooler. So
yeah,
you got that going for you too.
And we usually had enough rain there in early September that the roads become more pliable, less dusty and gravelly. So it's really a good time to ride gravel out here.
And I'm looking at some of the event photos from like last year, And
Mhm.
folks, that's probably the best way if you're wanting to get an idea about any event, is to go find the event photos, and your event photos really do a great job of displaying, the volume of people, the types of riders, what the roads look like, what the after party looks like. So kudos on that. That looks great. And that's probably one of the best ways to pick up on that. So thank you, folks, to Sally and Michael for joining us.
Thank you.
And telling us all about this event. We firmly are in the camp of rides over races and support you in what you're doing here. So fantastic, and thank you for doing it.
I'm in the barbecue and beer camp.
Yeah,
Will you be
Yeah,
will
not
you
gonna
be joining us this year?
Possibly.
Come on out.
September 23rd. Is that the Pennsylvania?
I don't know what's going on
next
month.
Yeah.
But
I got to get to
September's
New York.
not far away.
Yeah, it's just around the corner,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Just around the corner.
Man, we were just we had a bike club meeting, and we were talking about the end of season stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, the season just started. That can't be. That can't be.
So we'd love to have you reach out to us, and we'll make arrangements for you.
We'll do. So, and I'm going
We
to
are pretty bad trespassers, so this would be great.
Yeah, we are. I believe Joey, Wes, and I.
We've been kicked out of places.
We've been kicked out of, and that's probably what that was that we got kicked out. It was probably we went to a little park, a little state park, and it connected to this other piece of land.
First time,
and we did not go through any no trespassing signs.
we just went through a gate.
There was a gate, but the gate was open. The gate was open.
We went around the closed gate. I'm not going to lie.
So
everyone.
just to piggyback off of their antics, today I was calling bike shops, and my husband was telling me he was on a blocked call list from a bike shop. And I said,
I forgot about that.
I said, I love you very much, but are we 12 years old? And he said, well, me and Wes kept calling this bike shop.
This was 10, 15 years ago.
Was it the helium in the bike tires?
No, we were on a we got blocked from there for a while. But it's 2023. That was probably 2010.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But it's just, like you expect your husband to be like grown up a little bit more and not be on no
okay,
block
I'm
list.
telling you about something that happened when I was 20 years old, not 33.
Well, you also got blocked from Airbnb. I remember that too. So that's
I am not getting invited to this event now.
it's what's your own. So let's give some URLs and some websites where people can find out more information. I'm going to put the links in the show notes, but where should people go to find the information that they're looking for?
Well, the best place is just to Google Bike to Gravel, and of course that'll link you directly to Bike Reg, and there's a lot of information there. But they should also Land Trust of Virginia has an extensive web page for the event, as well as for the Land Trust itself and all the great work they do.
Yeah, that's the one that I looked at quite a bit. The one that's on the page, and that's what I'll link to both. We have had great debate over Bike Reg versus Bike Reg. And I've heard more people saying Bike Reg lately, Joey. Didn't we decide Bike
I've heard
Reg?
Reg.
Yeah, I don't know. We debate some of the silly.
Maybe they did that on purpose.
Maybe that's it.
Because then you can't forget the site.
Yeah. I'm going to put links to all of that stuff in the show notes. So thank you one more time, Michael and Sally, for joining us. Now, at the end of every episode, we do our this and that's. You may or may not have listened, but I explained them beforehand, and I'm hopeful that you are going to continue after spending 25 or 30 minutes with us, that you will continue to agree that this or that's or something that you would like to participate in. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Don't be worried. So this will be the order of operation. Sally, you get the. Well, I'm going to give you the opportunity to request that Michael go first, as opposed to having Michael.
Michael, go first.
Okay. So Michael will go first. Sally, then you're up. Then Jess. Then me. Then Joey, in typical West fashion, gets to muck it all up. So first item on this week's This or That. Would you rather smell bad on purpose or smell bad by mistake?
On purpose. Definitely on purpose.
Ah, yes.
Because I must be doing something I love.
That's a good answer. That's the best answer. Sally?
I completely agree. It means you're putting some effort into something.
Okay. Jessica?
Hey, Jess, let's hear about this one.
Jessica, let's hear what happened to you today.
This is a true story in the life of Jess Sikorsky. I think I put my running shorts on my dresser today, instead of on the floor.
Yesterday from yesterday's run.
Yeah, so I must have been wearing these shorts on a run, and I must have thrown them on top of the dresser or whatever. And I put these shorts on underneath my dress today because I teach pre-K. I need to be all over the place teaching. And everybody kept saying, they're like, we need to check these kids' pants. Somebody had an accident. It smells terrible in here. But it was
Just sweat.
Do you really think that was you?
100% that had to be me. There was not one kid with an accident today.
So did you have an accident in your pants, or were they just sweaty?
No, they just smelt, but like you don't really like, it just smelt bad.
Now,
So
I've got a follow-up question.
sure.
Is it how often do accidents occur that you have to deal with? You're doing kindergarten, not middle school.
Summer school, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I do teach summers. I do teach during the school year in an 8th grade classroom.
Now, I'm just going to keep following on with questions. Do you have the same problems with requiring bathroom escorts with the kindergartners that you have with the?
She has that problem with me.
Correct.
Oh, that kind of, yeah, sorry, never mind.
We both sets of kids, kindergarten and 8th graders, love going to the bathroom. It's like their favorite part of the day.
Kindergartners aren't smoking weed like the 8th graders in the
Yes,
bathroom.
but the kindergartners love to flush the toilets and see which way the toilets turn.
They always go the same way.
They love flushing toilets.
Okay.
They love flushing toilets. It's like a whole new experience for them. Like, look, I get to flush this toilet. So
For me, while I can appreciate this answer of smelling bad on purpose means you're doing something you love, unfortunately, I do believe that while that would be my preference, I do think that most times I smell bad by mistake. Joey?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you that one. I smell bad by mistake.
You smell like a bike shop, which smells good.
No.
I think bike shops smell good. Okay, this one's an easy one.
I think Lowe's smells good.
Lowe's, like the hardware store?
Mhm.
I think
Oh, yeah.
bike shops smell wonderful. That
Mhm.
rubber grease smell.
With all the chemicals and carbon
Well-
dust I breathe in? Sure.
I don't know. I just go in and I hang out and then I leave when that stuff starts to bother me.
Yeah.
Second item, this week's this or that. Rainbows or dolphins?
What?
Rainbows or dolphins? This is a gentle one.
It is very gentle. I think I'll go with dolphin. At least it's there longer than the rainbow.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I want to burst into song. Rainbow, dolphin.
Now we have to pay royalties.
I think because I'm an animal lover, I would go with dolphins.
Excellent choice. Jess?
I feel like it should have been like unicorns or dolphins. Like I feel like that would have been
I was going to do
comparing
that.
animals.
One thing is not real and the other one is. Well, wait a minute. Are you?
No, they're. I like rainbows,
So I put this in here today.
but my husband's also a leprechaun, so maybe that's why I like rainbows.
Hey, I put this in today because we had dolphins in our creek today. I was out fishing, had some clients out fishing. I had a whole pod of dolphins all the way up at the very top end above Vera's in St. Leonard Creek. So people around here know where that is. We get dolphins in the bay. We get some dolphins in the river, but I've been fishing that creek 30 years. I have never seen a dolphin in my creek. Whole pot of them. Joey?
Dolphins are villains. They're always played as the good people.
Yeah, but-
It's going to come out one day.
They're destroying other fish. I mean, they were just slaughtering bait. Oh my
They need a
goodness.
sci-fi movie about dolphins going rogue.
I think I've seen that.
Oh yeah,
That would be cool.
They are not a flipper.
Last time Joey talked smack about a bird.
Yeah, never
What-
mind. Yeah, I got a bird locked in my car overnight after I talked bad about birds.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
no
thinks
joke.
he
Birds aren't real. Birds aren't real.
I kept joking about birds being drones on that ride for like hours, and that next morning I got in my Subaru and there was a bird flying around in it that was locked overnight and it pooped
I
everywhere.
wonder who put that there. No, I didn't do
I
that.
started driving down the road, just flying around. I slammed on my brakes, opened all the doors.
Oh
Out
my
came the
God.
bird.
That's funny.
I'm gonna go rainbows because I'm getting my rainbow leprechaun tattoo.
When are you going to do that?
Jess said I had to wait about 10 years,
So I did.
probably next month.
I did during some of the more festivus times of Grusk, shared with a few insiders what that potential tattoo might look like.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to see this artwork that I have had created on. Where are you gonna get it?
It's calf.
Calf?
Or my arm under my sleeve.
I like the idea of putting it on your phone, lock screen, and then decide if you still like it.
I like it.
But I like it too. Anyway, the next item on this or that. This one should be easy for y'all on the front end. Virginia or West Virginia?
Ooh.
Ooh, there's decisions to be made over there. I thought.
Man, they're just so beautiful. They're both so beautiful, and they both offer so much. I guess I'll go with Virginia since I'm sitting here in the middle of it. And,
there you go. Good choice.
How about you, Sally?
Well, I think I have to, I love West Virginia, but we live in a really pretty part of Virginia. I live on top of a mountain in Virginia near Shenandoah National Park. And
nice.
Yeah, I love Virginia.
These are whenever we put two states against each other, it really makes people upset. We did the whole Pennsylvania, North Carolina thing, and boy, we heard about that.
Ooh, yeah, we got a lot of flack.
Time. Jess, Virginia or West Virginia?
Well, my friend Sally and I are both New Jerseyans.
Okay.
So, Sally, I'm also from Jersey, very close to Princeton. But everybody talks smack about Jersey. And I think people talk smack about West Virginia too.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
you're gonna go with West Virginia?
No, I'm gonna go with Virginia.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna go with New Jersey.
I would if I could pull. I feel like every time I should be able to pull any other card I want to. So
the rules are all made up. You could have said New
Exactly.
Jersey. That would be fine too. I'm gonna show for the time being. Now I could be convinced at some point in the future to flip my vote, but Larry is from West Virginia, and I do. Our good friend Larry is from West Virginia. And I did enjoy being in West Virginia for Grusk.
With Larry
and Travis and all the folks. And we had a fantastic time. And we're going to talk about Grusk here in a future episode. But I'm going to go West Virginia.
It's no secret how much I hate New Jersey. Just saying. But you're nice, Sally. And I told Jess I love New Jersey, where she's from. I had to say that on this episode.
Where in New Jersey, Jess?
Well, I was from Toms River, but my family resides in Cream Ridge.
Beautiful there.
Which is
beautiful there.
Very close to Princeton.
What exit is that?
7A.
Okay.
I have went out for tacos and got lost in Princeton.
Okay.
It's very close.
Okay.
I'm going to say Virginia. Virginia offers literally everything. Kind of like Maryland. You can go in the mountains. You can go big city. You can go to the ocean.
Okay.
Like Virginia as a state, especially that little armpit down there in the bottom left, Appalachia.
There's also the part of Virginia that gets forgotten on all the maps.
Roanoke?
No, not Roanoke. The
Delmarva.
Yeah,
it's beautiful
the
over
shore
there.
side, but that never shows up on the maps.
Yeah, as a fly fisherman, it offers everything.
Okay. So Virginia.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jersey also has that.
What?
Just kidding.
And when you do
They
it next
definitely
time,
have everything.
they do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, New Jersey has everything.
If you
Even all that stuff you don't want.
Not only that, you can get to everything in an hour. You could get to New York City in an hour. You could get to the beach in an hour. You could get to the mountains in an hour. You could get, anywhere in an hour.
Hey team, we're not talking about New Jersey anymore.
Yeah.
unless you're stuck in traffic on the turnpike or something, then you can get everywhere in an hour.
Or you get scurvy.
Okay, last item. Regular alcohol beer or non-alcoholic beer, like our friends over at Athletic Brewing make.
Yeah, well, I'm sticking with old Busthead. We're going for the alcohol.
Nice. Sally?
Well, I'm a wine drinker. Like, why would I drink wine if it was alcohol free?
Yeah, why would you?
Like-
That's called grape juice. And kids drink that. Your kindergartners, Jess, they drink grape juice. So.
No, I say alcohol and beer.
Yeah. Jessica?
For people like me and my friends who may be on some medication, we prefer the non-alcoholic beer because we can still drink it but get the taste of the beer.
Yeah.
So I think it does, and you don't lose you don't lose your whatever,
Lose your
stamina,
cool. Yeah,
cool, your
yeah.
recovery. I know that's a huge thing is when you drink beer or alcohol after, you don't recover as fast enough. But
So I think each has its place, but there's nothing like, I mean, especially at the end of a ride when you've gathered with friends, but then you still have to drive your vehicle. It's just a responsible thing to do, to have a nice non-alcoholic beer, but you still get that like social, I'll call it a social buzz that comes from, partaking and having a drink with your friends, so to speak. So I think each has its place.
my number one requirement though is if we go someplace social is that I always have a drink to hold in my hand because
Smart.
it's a very like thing like to be drinking with other people. So I always have a beverage.
Do you keep it in your hand too? You need to do that. Young ladies have to keep it in their hands because I've had friends that have out in Ocean City that have gotten roofied. And like literally, because people put stuff in your drinks anymore because people are like that. So hold on.
Nobody has ever roofied my Starbucks.
Okay.
They just
Well, this took a turn.
Joey, you've never roofied the Starbucks?
I'm not Bill Cosby.
Oh.
Hey, so I'm an old lady, and I might want to be roofied, but nobody's doing
oh yes, Sally.
Oh, if we were still doing titles, that would be a title right there. I want to be roofied.
Sally, I should live my life more like you, friend.
Joey,
Well, I don't know how to come off of that one.
let's stay bourbon.
I've been known to party at bike events, but respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only gone ham at one unpaved.
Yeah.
And I've been responsible the other. It was nice having birch beer last year, but at Dirty Kitten, having athletic and having a 2-hour ride home.
Yep.
I'd have 2 or 3 of these.
Yep.
You're thirsty.
Yeah. And it just tastes good. There's something about that taste
Yeah,
of the
and bourbon
of
tastes
beer.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, listen, Michael and Sally, thank you so very much for joining us and talking about conservation easements and talking about this great event that you guys have got coming up. We really do appreciate what you're doing. And I'm excited for it. It. And I think that what you're doing is fantastic. So thank you.
You're welcome.
This
Thanks
was
for having us.
great opportunity and fun. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, it's about time we shut it down for the week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you enjoy the podcast, maybe consider joining us on our Patreon family. We really do appreciate all of the support, and your monthly donation of just a couple bucks really does help keep this magic happening. Joey, how can folks get in touch with us?
Well, if you want to, roofie us,
You're going to be a Dirty Kid this weekend.
yeah.
No roofie Joey.
I'm going to put some pantyhose over my drink or whatever they do nowadays.
There was actually a Shark Tank convention.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
that. We're at graveltraveldirt.com. Our Instagram is at Mid-Atlantic GTD. Jess will be at Dirty Kitten Friday through Sunday. I will be there for the day on Sunday.
Nice.
And
I'm off to New York for Empire State
yeah,
Ride.
Brian misses all the cool stuff.
Then I'm back for a week, and then I'm off to flooded Vermont for another bike tour up there. So we'll see how that goes. So we're going to be gone a week, or we'll figure out something next week. Well, we're back on hiatus next week. I don't know. Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week right here in Joey, Jess, and let's not forget Blake, who's been very quiet right here in their kitchen. Thanks for riding along. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.